This is Hit Publish, the first podcast dedicated to uncovering heroic businesses secretly navigating the ever-changing digital landscape. Each episode, we'll play host to leaders in their fields discussing their adoption of the latest digital trends and related technologies, addressing the total effects on the way we market businesses and brands across all of our industries. And occasionally, we'll pay homage to the technology giants who dictate our online lives and the platforms they provide, reminding ourselves of the self-inflicted and inevitable misuse of personal data. So if this all sounds good to you, skip the terms and conditions, ignore the privacy policy, and hit subscribe.
Okay, so full disclosure, if you came into our podcast room, it looks like we could broadcast Radio 1 from in here. It's a classic case of all the gear and no idea. So open and honest, on this particular episode, I may have slightly forgotten to press a particular button which makes the sound good. So apologies in advance. Really sorry. The sound quality of this particular episode isn't great, but all the ones going forward certainly will be. Thanks. Enjoy.
On this episode of Hit Publish.
But I think that people need to use social media more intentionally. Does not want 10,000 people looking at his meat. Twitter is dying hard.
On this episode, we spoke to Georgie, the founder of Simply Social, an expert social media management and organic strategies company for small businesses.
We spoke to Georgie about many things, including her top 3 tips for growing on social media fast, how to deal with negative comments on social, and of course the big debate, is there any point in organic social media?
There'll also be the usual 5-minute latest news update and a reminder for you to subscribe to our podcast for the latest technology-inspired digital marketing news.
Here we are, another episode of Hit Publish.
Yep.
We made it. Some drinks we've got with us. I'm not a massive fan. Are these new drinks from Costa?
No, not quite. So they need 20 hours to brew apparently, and the guy, the barista, what do you call it, said he can't make me one. So instead he made me
I think that's fair enough. 20 hours is quite a long wait for a drink.
He made these Americano cold brews with strawberries inside them. I think it's a bit gross, but yeah.
They're all right. I quite like it.
I'm more towards the slightly gross end of that, to be honest.
I'm getting used to it. Are you not a fan?
Costa. I hope Costa don't listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
Costa or Starbucks?
Oh, Costa?
Starbucks.
Am I here for this bit?
Get in.
Oh,
Get involved.
I'm not involved because I don't like coffee, so I went for mango slushy something.
So the voice you just heard there is Georgie Davies from Simply Social. Hi, Georgie.
Hi.
Thanks for coming in.
No problem at all.
It's really nice to have you. We're going to talk about social media and stuff. There's a lot of talk right now online, especially around mental health and well-being. Social media obviously playing a big part in that discussion. We've seen Instagram remove like counts. Has that happened in the UK as well?
Not in the UK. It's testing in Canada and a bunch of other countries.
Okay, so we will see it over here at some point.
Yeah.
It's a good example of them trying to help the cause. So do you feel social media is a bad thing?
I think social media can be a bad thing, but I think that people need to use social media more intentionally. So following people that are influential, following people that are interesting and inspiring and that are teaching you things, rather than scrolling aimlessly through pretty women and buff men that just make you feel bad about yourself. We need to be following people that are giving us something back rather than just making us feel bad about ourselves constantly.
Indeed, value.
Yeah, and also commenting, being more engaging with people that we do actually know. I feel like we look at people's pictures and I'll tell my friend who sat next to me, she looks really nice in that photo, but I won't write it on there in case, I don't know, whereas now, I don't know. I'm being more intentional now. I won't write the horrible things, I'm not thinking anything horrible, but be more nice to each other and be more positive and more, my best word for it is intentional. We should be intentionally using social media.
For a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's fair to say as well, we curate our own feeds, don't we? Really, by what we like, what we view.
Exactly.
And if we're liking and continuously viewing and clicking on things that are perhaps not the most healthy things in the world, then you're only going to get fed that continuously.
Yeah, but it's okay to say that is just sort of human nature, because at the end of the day, the stuff we get fed by the algorithms is kind of dictated by what we like and comment on and share with our friends.
Yeah.
So it's our own behaviour that's resulting in us seeing bad stuff.
Yes, which is why we should be more intentional in our behaviour. We
Right.
sit and we click on things that we're not actually thinking about. We need to, when we're scrolling, actually think about the fact that we're going to click on something that is benefiting our life or shaping our life and our personalities in a good way, rather than randomly clicking on a lipstick that we don't even want.
And how's that going to work? You just said, yeah, we like the stuff and we get fed that by the algorithms. But if Instagram are getting rid of showing the likes, are we still going to like, but we just don't show it to the public?
So you can still like stuff and you'll still be able to like stuff, but there won't be like a public barometer.
Okay.
So you won't be able to go on someone's photos and see they got 37 likes or 150 billion
I'm all
likes.
for this.
Yeah.
All for the,
So you'll just
Yeah.
see like,
and I think for their first page, when you click on somebody or a company, rather than in big bold numbers right at the top, it'll be somewhere lower and a lot
Yeah.
smaller. So it won't be, you won't judge straight away whether you want to follow them because they've got more than 10,000 followers,
Yeah.
or whether they've got 300 followers, but they're actually a fantastic company that you liked, but you might not have followed them because they weren't quite as popular as you expected them to be, and therefore they can't be that great.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
I think Instagram I'm sure there's underlying reasons for it, but that is going to benefit their bottom line in some way. Of course, their business at the end of the day, but ultimately I think it does come back to the whole mental health thing that apparently likes gives you that dopamine hit.
Yeah.
It makes you feel good. Oh, lots of people like my stuff, which is great, and you crave that more, which makes that platform or any other platform
I wonder if
addictive.
it'll stop showing us people liking it though, because surely the hit comes from when you go on, you've got notifications, you press on it and you get all these likes.
Yeah.
Surely you'll still get that bit, but it's just the other people looking at you that won't have prejudged whether they're going to like you or not.
That's true.
So you
actually.
might actually get more likes from it.
Mm.
And
I've read that kids are
Yeah.
changing.
That's
Kids have changed their personal account to a business account, so they can still see those likes. This is
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah.
that's a sad little
I know, it's ridiculous. So they're changing it to a business account, but at the same time, that means that a lot of their data that they're putting into that account is readily available.
Maybe you should have to do some form of business quiz at the start of getting a business account that they therefore have to have
Yeah,
learned
the
something
council.
before. Yeah, write your accountant's name. You can't write mum and dad.
Indeed. In your business, do you deal in paid advertisement through social, or do you just concentrate on the organic side of things?
I concentrate on the organic side of things, but I'm looking and doing some courses in the paid side of things. But my sort of niche in my business is that I'm trying to help smaller, personable companies have an online presence as opposed to mass marketing, because some of the companies that I do it for example, a local butcher's, does not want 10,000 people looking at his meat. Whatever you write on his one comes out as rude anyway, so I'll just go with it. He doesn't want that many people looking at his meat. He just wants his local people coming to buy it. Doesn't need thousands of likes. He just needs good content that remind people in the area how good his meat is and how reasonably priced his meat is, and the quality of it is fantastic. It's bringing that across as opposed to constant putting. He doesn't need money spent on ads because he doesn't need more business. Social media marketing isn't always about the need for finding more business. It's about retaining the people that you have and just having a bit more, maybe bringing in new people as older people are leaving and just keeping the cycle going.
Yeah, about having that personal touch, isn't it? And that direct point of contact as well. Today, for example, when I was researching what drinks we could have, I was looking for coffee places. I mean, no, you hate coffee. I was looking for coffee places. And the two that I found, as opposed to the big chains like Costa or Starbucks, the two that I found were easily contactable through Facebook Messenger, which just gives that sort of touch point, doesn't it? That personal touch point and the awareness. It's easy to be able to get in touch with those people. And
I like that you still want Costa.
well, they were too far away. It's a long walk. But anyway, yeah, so as a small business then, do you think it's better to sort of concentrate efforts on one platform or sort of spread across all the channels that are relevant?
I would say that it's very dependent on business. Each business is different depending on what they want to do and what they're actually marketing for. So I work with a mortgage company who are solely just trying to get a bit more professional online. So all we're doing at the moment is LinkedIn. So we're putting articles out there, we're linking on people that work there together, and that's the only thing we need to do. There's no point putting a mortgage company on Instagram because nobody likes a photo of some guy sat at his desk. You'll run out of content very quickly.
Right.
Whereas a hairdressers that I do need to be on Instagram and Facebook, but then they don't really need to be on LinkedIn because that's not the market that they're looking for. They're looking for local people, so things like Facebook is perfect. So it's very much you need to find out who you want to find you and where they're likely to be. So Facebook tends to be older people. Instagram is all about images. So if you haven't got something that's got great images, then don't bother. LinkedIn is professionals. Twitter is dying hard.
I love Twitter.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Financial statement.
Controversial. Mic drop. I can drop it. I would.
Don't drop
It's so each their own. If people like, and there's a lot of accounts that I do put on Twitter, but it's not ones that I'm researching hard on how to do because it's dying.
Interesting. Can you tell us more why you say that, or why you think that? Or why
It's one of those ones where Instagram is doing the same things that Twitter are doing, but we're now in a world where everything is about image. You read an image 80% more than you read words. So I bet on all your Twitter posts you're still putting a picture.
I don't post anything.
See, you're the creepy guy that just goes through Twitter.
I hardly post at all on Twitter. I'm usually just like scrolling through and reading stuff. I love reading. Where does it sound? And my Twitter feed now, it seems to be like, what I love about Twitter is like the moments. Yeah. So like the World Cup and Love Island and all that kind of
it's things like that. That is the ones that
you can get really
it's a news feed basically. Yeah. So why aren't you watching the news?
Good point. The actual news on TV, I think, is all bad stuff.
It's a bit depressing. Yeah, but there's
someone died again, someone else died. Oh, okay, great.
Brilliant.
That's depressing.
But that's also what Twitter is a quick way of getting things out there. So an example of when I have used Twitter is I do a jiu-jitsu company who we were at a competition and I was live commenting what was happening.
Okay.
That was the only time that it's been beneficial, but I'm all for still putting things on Twitter. And you don't have to delete your app or anything, but it's going.
A platform like Twitter, which is really fast paced, and Instagram's pretty quick as well.
Yeah. How
and where are you generating the content from to keep these businesses busy and noticeable?
This is why I have a company. Is because people can't think of content. People can't think of imaginative ways of getting themselves out there. So like one of the aims that I try and show people and what I teach is that it's 70-20-10. So 70% of your social media and marketing should be just generic talking. This is what we're up to. This is what we're doing. I like this. I'm here. I'm doing this. 20% should be engagement and sharing other people's things, and 10% is sales. 10% is sales. Okay. So it shouldn't be, I'm selling this, we're doing this, we have an appointment for this, book this, book
hard
this.
sell.
People will unfollow you. People don't care. They want to see genuinely what you're doing and being nosy.
How do you do that when you're not in the business?
I meet up with companies to get a lot of their content. A lot of content is then sent to me and I will filter out what is good and what is not good. A lot of things like back to my butcher, I will go in once a week, take some photos, get some recipes, do some of the product of the month, get the team, all these things that will then give me enough content to nicely organise for the next however many weeks. But they just don't have somebody that A, can be bothered to do it, B, that has time to do it, and C, that is creative enough to think a recipe is actually quite a good idea to put on art.
Right.
Yeah. For me, what makes social media good is those of the moment things.
Yeah.
So like a butcher or restaurant or something like that, we've just taken the delivery of these amazing shellfish or this amazing cut of meat, etc., etc., and that happens at that moment.
Yeah.
With you not being in the business, how are you relying on capturing that kind of that kind
essence?
Yeah.
So a lot of it comes from. So especially for Instagram, what I tell people is that my part of the business is to get the grid, the posts going, the constant pictures, the feed.
Yeah.
I then tell people to use their stories all the time. Anytime you think of something, it goes in 24 hours. If it wasn't very good, it'll go. If it was good, we can save it and put it in their highlights and use it. And they should now have time to be able to do some stories because they're not worrying about finding something to post
for the day
on the page.
Right.
Yeah, they're not trying to set up a pretty shot that is good for it and trying to think of a caption and trying to think of what they're doing, where they are on their 70, 20, 10, whether I worry about all that bit for them so that they can be in the company, in the business, doing the in the moment things. Because that is still their job to do that bit. But
so it's not that the client is totally hands-off.
No. So the more hands-on they can be without ruining my grid and the schedule, the better, because people still care about the person who was doing it. It is a bit controversial, somebody running a feed for somebody's business, because the reason, especially the smaller companies that I do, they are businesses because of the individuals that started it. They are popular because of that. So the stories, I always tell them to post as much and whatever they want, because it doesn't need to be, it can be you guys getting a disgusting strawberry coffee. It's nothing to do with your business.
I'd like to conclude, after having tried this now for the past 10 minutes or so, it's not great. Carry on.
Nobody's drank much. Mine is delicious. Nobody's drank much.
Massive fan of Costa.
So things like that, putting that on, you've got time to put your story on and say how disgusting your one was, because you haven't got to worry that I'm posting and replying to your comments and things like that, and also keeping up to date with other people that are sharing things onto your page. So if people have tagged you in something, I will then reshare that, repost it, put it in your story, so that you haven't got to be constantly looking at your notifications and worrying about what to do with it. You can just get on with your day-to-day and then think, oh, this is a nice thing to put on my story, I'll do this.
So, I mean, it sounds like you've got a good bunch of clients in the bag at the minute.
Perfect bunch of clients.
Yeah, good. And what sort of tools? I mean, that's a lot of content to manage. That's a lot of scheduling happening. What tools are you using to manage that?
I am a super organised person, is what I will throw out there straight away. And I like pen and paper. I do like to write down. So I have a calendar basically printed out that I will write on when I've scheduled people. So I know that they've gone Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they've got something on Saturday. Make sure that I can see it across there, how much content is on there. I then use scheduling apps that will then, like Social Pilot is what I use at the moment. It's a paid one so that I can have X amount of accounts and I can put it all on there. So one day I can sit down, I can do 5 hours worth of work and get 5 weeks worth of content scheduled, ready to go. And I know that it's coming. Put it on my nice calendar, highlight it in multicoloured pens, because that's what my life is about, and I'm good to go. So,
can you, with that particular platform, can you post directly to Instagram? Or
no,
you still have to.
Nowhere posts directly to Instagram, which is the baby. Oh, Buffer.
Yeah,
Buffer. I did try Buffer, and is it a paid one?
Yes.
Yeah, see, I've paid my social. The thing with the Instagram one, what I have been doing is that it pings up on my phone, so I get the notification that tells me to post it. I then post it, but I can then edit it for Instagram, which I have been doing. So I set up my Social Pilot for Facebook.
Yeah.
When it then comes with a notification for Instagram, I can add my hashtags and my things to it.
How do you manage hashtags, actually?
A very technical tool called Notes on your phone.
Whoa, okay.
Well, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But I find writing a bunch down. However, a lot of the time it is just an in-the-moment kind of thing. You have to look at the picture. So one of the rules of it is who, what, how, where, when. So you look at your photo, who's in it, where are they, what are they doing, you get the gist. But it gives me then, I don't massively like scheduling posts, but obviously you have to do it to get into it. But by telling me before it puts it on Instagram, I can then make those last minute
changes.
Yeah, because if I put, it's a really sunny day today in Gloucester, it's raining. So it's quite nice to actually be able to give myself a bit of a heads up, but at least it's there and ready for me to just remind myself to post it.
Top tip.
Yeah.
Nice, like it.
Are you finding with sort of connects that with talking about posting, is organic reach kind of declining? It's with your client, your butcher, is it sort of harder to get the same?
It's business dependent. So some businesses are just better on different accounts than other ones.
Okay, yeah.
So the jiu-jitsu company I do, Instagram love it because there's a massive community of people doing jiu-jitsu. Their Gracie Bar, like all of it is all on Instagram and people love it. When you put them on Facebook, it's slightly less because It's just not as many people like it on there.
Okay.
You put the butchers on Facebook, it goes mental because it's all older people and they like commenting and they like saying that what they bought was great. I still think their meat is great and things like that. But organic reach I don't think it's dying. I think it just needs to be used more effectively. It needs to be used as the people that are liking it are your actual customers that are actually close to you. Whereas when you're paying for marketing and non-organic reach, you're getting likes from people that probably couldn't get your product anyway. So what's the point?
Okay. Yeah.
That's my...
I mean, my sort of thing a little bit is kind of what is the point in organic reach? It kind of covers a little bit. Why not just run paid ads? So if I'm a small business and I want to reach people within my area, I could just...
And I think that question is more targeted towards startup, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you've already got massive
If
following.
you've really got a massive following and you've got 2,000-3,000 followers on Instagram, then organic reach, there's a reason to it. But if you're just starting out...
Yeah. Should I tell you what the money could be spent better on?
Go on.
Networking.
Okay.
Networking, joining communities of people that are going to use you, that you can then tag. A lot of problems with the startup companies that you just don't have the content to put out there. So use that money that you would have used on. I'm not saying don't do paid advertising. Definitely do a little bit, get your name out there.
Yeah.
But use that money to meet people that are actually in the industries, speak to people, tag that you're there with them. They've got 10,000 followers, so now you're on their 10,000 followers.
Right.
Bit of
Old school
network. Actually talk to people. It's social.
How do you do that?
Social media, not just the media bit. That's the bit that people are missing. It's free networking, social media. It's your chance to, once you've met people, you can meet them 50 more times on social media because you can tag them, comment on what they've done.
Yeah.
And it's just, they're almost called like fake friends because the people you've got on Instagram and Facebook are like the nicest people in the world and they comment on all your pictures and they're like, oh, I love this. And they're perfect. Whereas your real friends actually don't write anything on there, which is fine, whatever.
I don't even have my real friends on Facebook.
Oh, do you not?
No.
I didn't know. You were going to say you didn't have any real friends. I'll be your friend. Getting those people are the people that you need to sort of use. If you're a startup company, go back and comment on their things because they're the ones that have already got their leads, their people there. Get your spam all over their things. Use what they're doing well and write things on it. I would use bit of paid advertising. Yeah. Okay. Bit of paid advertising, get your name out there, but go to meet some people. Not just business, personal, meet some people.
Do I have to? Okay.
Should we do some news?
Yes, why not?
Let's do some news. So, was it 5 minutes on the clock, please, Sam?
Yeah. And
see if we can get through 5 points in 5 minutes. Go.
Go.
The Great Hack. New Netflix show, documentary even. Have you seen it?
No.
Tell
us about it.
Good.
Just stop there. Next question.
It's been out for a little while, actually. I'm surprised that more people haven't seen it. So The Great Hack is a new Netflix documentary that lays bare the cynicism and chaos surrounding the data research company Cambridge Analytica that harvested information from millions of Facebook users. To be fair, if you're in this game, it's nothing new.
No.
But it is a massive eye-opener.
Yeah, it's just the way they went about things.
It's shocking. It follows David Carroll, who's an American who had to come to the UK because the laws in the US didn't allow him to do this. So he had to come to the UK to legally force Cambridge Analytica to reveal the data report they had on him. And it basically follows him trying to get that data.
Okay.
And at the same time, it also follows, I can't remember her name, Brittany Kaiser, who was a former Cambridge Analytica employee who blows the whistle on a lot of stuff that was going on there. It's a massive eye-opener. It confirms everything that sort of come out. It's surprising how little Facebook is sort of given their place in it. They were massively involved. They didn't really talk about Facebook so much. It was solely focused on Cambridge Analytica and the parent company SLC, I think it's called.
Something like that.
But the big question it asks, and here we go, as a result of this, can we ever have a free and fair election again? Ooh.
Did we have one before, though?
Because the power these companies have with the data that they've got, they can literally manipulate people's choices. And it's scary to think they could do that. So it's now confirmed, actually more recently, in the past week or two, it's confirmed that Cambridge Analytica were definitely involved in the Leave EU
Oh, the
campaign.
Brexit campaign. Yeah.
Which is scary.
Yeah.
Trump obviously was the main thing that's
Yeah.
got him in the door.
Apparently, Brexit was like the test bed for the Trump stuff.
Yeah,
They tested, yeah.
it's scary. They had I think it was a chief financial officer on the documentary, and they were interviewing him, and he was quite open, and he said, to be fair, there was always going to be a Cambridge Analytica. It just sucks for him that it was Cambridge Analytica.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Which sort of suggests that actually what's going on here, what did go on here, was actually it's going on and was going on and is going on.
Probably going to continue. Just
I feel
they'll
like
just
there's
get
so
better
many,
at it.
there's so
Yeah.
many things that we don't know the half of, that this is just on the list of things that we.
Yeah. Area 51.
Yeah, that's been taken down on Facebook as well now. Have you seen that?
Has it really?
They removed it.
Why?
Really?
Because everyone actually stormed Area 51. Surely they just hide everything. Surely now is the point to be hiding the aliens that people put in there.
Yeah.
Stupid
yeah.
people.
You
To go
can't
back-
join that group now.
To go back to this sort of stuff with the free and fair election, we've always had like advertising. It's basically
Yeah, that's-
just better advertising.
Yeah.
All that's happened is the same advertising you used to get on TVs
Is now.
and the campaigns you run in print and whatever. Just do it on Facebook.
If anything, these
Yeah,
guys
but-
just did
but-
better in one.
It's just that they're just because we're really, really good at it now.
Yeah.
But it's the targeting methods. It's the fact that they can target vulnerable people.
But is that not the same as
lead the
going
same.
outside certain places? Like back in the
Yeah.
old days when you had a billboard and where you put it, surely that's the same thing. That
No,
you're
because
just finding
it's
the right.
a billboard doesn't necessarily. It's so open, isn't it? It's not always relevant. So everyone
Okay.
that sees that
Yeah.
billboard, it's not relevant. I don't care. It's
Okay.
irrelevant.
Yeah.
Whereas the targeted ads, it's always relevant.
Yeah.
Or should always be relevant anyway. If the
But
targeting
then if
is
it's
relevant.
relevant, is it not? Are they not already people that would have voted Leave anyway?
Yeah,
Possibly, but now they manipulate them. It's
Yeah,
not-
so
A little.
the whole thing was they actually used psychographic data, so they knew and picked out specific fears that groups of people had. So if your thing was you really were paranoid about immigrants for whatever reason, and then they would just force feed you ads related to immigration, and
Yeah.
then say that you have to vote Leave because otherwise you have more.
But is it not that those people, if you were watching both sets of advert on the television, they would have gone for the Leave ones anyway? Do you know, like, if
Perhaps,
that's that
but-
type of people that are gonna, if they're gonna see that, is it just that maybe they're people that would never have seen any of the political stuff anyway, and
Well,
now they are?
I think it's about the reach, isn't it? That the adverts might not be seen, a television advert might not be seen by the
Yeah.
right people, whereas a targeted ad, they're going to see it and they're going to gauge a reaction.
Yeah, see, I'm in marketing, so I think it's clever.
Oh, yeah.
So
No,
when it's clever targeting becomes like
Yeah.
brainwashing sort of thing. But yeah, I think, like I said, targeting it is great if we really hit by people. Can't the Remain people hit those same?
Yeah, surely they were.
Oh, there's our 5 minutes.
Wow, that
We've
was
done
all of one
one.
question.
let's move on. Let's fly through a couple of the others. Digital nomads. Have you heard of this term?
Yeah.
I will
Yes.
want to be a digital
I
nomad.
know I've got a friend who's a digital nomad.
I'm
who's
trying.
actually,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you a digital nomad that really just wants to work on the beach for
Yes.
a couple of years? Or
Was I close enough to the microphone? Yes.
So anyway, this isn't just a passing fad or a trend. So digital nomads are really becoming the thing. We say that by 2020, it's expected that 50% of the UK's workforce will be working remotely, and a lot of those will be digital nomads.
Surely that can't be true. 50%.
Yeah,
That's by
well-
next year.
that's a lot.
Well, my friends and colleagues, most of them work remotely. I don't know a lot of people that actually go into an office and sit down and do a whole
See, I'm
office
the
job.
polar opposite that probably know only people that do that.
Really?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of businesses, a lot of jobs and work that you can't be a digital
Yeah, of
nomad
course,
for. You
yeah,
can't- You
yeah.
have to be where you need to be. Sort of
Yeah.
thing. So
Yeah. That is a massive number.
It's a
But
trust
I don't
thing.
think it's unrealistic. Or maybe that's just in my world. I don't
Maybe
know.
by
Maybe that's just in my world.
Yeah, but 2020 I think is a bit soon for that. Maybe
Yeah.
another 5-6 years after that, you
Yeah.
might see that figure. But for now, I think.
I don't think
But
companies
proper-
trust people enough to let them.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
argument, yeah. But the proper digital nomads, I don't know who proper digital nomads are, but those people that actually they're not just doing it because they've just finished uni and they want to do a few years on a beach or whatever. People that actually do that properly, they're often some of the most creative people and really headhunted people that do
Yeah,
it.
I can agree with
So
that.
freelancers that are well known within the industry sector that they work in, and it's those guys that are really doing quite well out of it. I'd love to do it, but it's unrealistic because
it's on my list. I don't need to go to a different country, but it's nice. I find that I can work better when I'm in my own setting and at my own time. If it means 8 o'clock at night I'm working rather than 2 o'clock in the afternoon, then so be it. Whatever I get my work done, however I get it done, is up to me.
Yeah, no, agreed. You look like you were going to say something, Chris.
It's just, I think the difference is because we're, like, say, self-employed or you've got your own company and you can fit it around that. I guess the challenge is if you were employing a team of 20 people and they're all off doing their own thing, it's going to be hard, a challenge for
again, it's the trusting, isn't it? That you've got
to have a return on investment or know what they need to get done.
I think it's a certain type of person and a certain type of business that can let people do that. I think that's I think if any, like, we're probably too set in our 9 to 5 that it actually makes it impossible to have business to customer relationships because everyone that you're trying to sell to is working 9 to 5 and you're trying to sell to them 9 to 5. Then it's actually, I'm all for the digital nomads, apart from people ringing me from PPI at 9 o'clock at night. Don't let them be digital nomads.
Quick, we've gone over the time anyway, but I want to touch on this one because it was quite funny. The fashion designer Instagram his shoes on top of his Ferrari, and Ferrari's threatening to sue him.
They're stupid. It's the stupidest thing ever. Ferrari and Lamborghini and those kind of car brands anyway, as far as I know, they're run by morons because they get lots of free publicity and they're suing everyone.
But if you'd made something, so you've just started a little t-shirt company and you've made something and somebody is selling their product whilst wearing your product, are you okay with that?
Ooh, weird one.
And then where's the point? I know that they're obviously a massive company and all marketing is good, but what point is a company not above that to worry about people using their things?
I mean, I think if you're Ferrari and your brand is strong and positive and well known, like, you can kind of, like, it's fine. Your brand isn't going to get diluted. Which I think that's what the fear is with this, is that the brand is going to be diluted by whatever the heck Philip
Or is it because they're using it and looking like they're in collaboration? Is that the suing point?
It is. Yeah, like they're using it
right because
I think it's fair what they've done. They've just gone
I get it. I think maybe suing at some small end. I don't know who the.
It doesn't matter. He's got.
That is fair. I don't know if he just used somebody else's.
It's a custom Ferrari as well, isn't it? Because he got it coloured in his brand colour.
Oh, see, that's just.
But there was a YouTuber, Jake Paul. He bought a Lamborghini a year or two ago, and he tried to go over there because if you pay them more money, you can pick up your own Lamborghini. So he went with his camera crew to go and try and film the whole everything, and they shut him down and told him to get out of the factory and all this kind of stuff. I thought he's just having some fun. He's a 20-year-old kid. He's got.
But then, how do they know what that's then being used for, and how that's being edited, and how that's being?
Yeah.
I'm just throwing the controversial.
There is that element. I just think these companies they're just old school.
Yeah.
I think it's hard, and it's hard to know the line between a big company that don't need to worry about it and a small company that are trying to build themselves up. At what point is the bit where we're like, okay, no, that's fine, so a big company, don't worry about it.
Indeed. Social media platform, TikTok, it's making a smartphone.
I've never heard of TikTok.
Don't be afraid.
If you're 16, it's relevant. If your target audience is 12 to 16, it's relevant.
Actually, no, there's a bit of
Yeah, but you're on Twitter, so.
What do I know? No, they've got a decent mid-20s audience as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a couple of people I know who got into.
I thought you were going to say a couple of people you know that are on it.
No. But yeah, so TikTok is kind of like, do you remember Vine?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's sort of Vine where you get lots of short, I don't know how long the video length is, but really short videos. Quality isn't amazing, but it's meant to be really creative, out there kind of stuff.
Got you, okay.
I think it's a bit like pointless and cheesy, but.
No, but the advertising potential is good if that's your market.
Yeah.
Definitely. The ad platform that they're working on is good, and it's all good stuff. Anyway, is that 5 news articles? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one more. Instagram Hive. We've already spoken about that.
Yeah.
Facebook is rebranding its family of apps.
Yes.
Ooh.
So I'm guessing from what I read, they want people to know because most people don't know that Instagram is owned and by Facebook.
See, that's surprising to us.
Yeah,
but
because
I think
you're
that,
in the digital world.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's the same as some of these other companies that you don't realise are all owned by the same top dog.
yeah,
Like, does it matter?
Car companies do it. Doesn't Volkswagen own like a whole bunch?
yeah. So they own Audi, Skoda, and something else.
Yeah. I think this will do them more harm than good. I think it will be a wake-up call. There'll be all those people out there that will go, what? Instagram's owned by Facebook. Facebook steals all my data. I think that might have a bit of a knockback.
I don't know.
Or do you look at it and go, oh, actually, it means I can post my things on both Facebook and Instagram at the same time?
Yeah, there'll be that share of people as well. Yeah, indeed.
And WhatsApp as well is also going to be rebranded. And I think, so people are going to see WhatsApp.
But WhatsApp is like all for, it's hardcore encrypted, isn't it? Both ends. And then as soon as Facebook put their badge on it, those people that don't know will go, what?
They're going to be a bit scared.
As somebody that uses WhatsApp every single day, I didn't know that it was hardcore
encrypted.
No, I didn't know that. So actually putting a badge of Facebook on it doesn't make any difference to my day.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I guess that's the other end of it.
That's the news. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
No one in 5 minutes.
No. Failed. Moving on. Georgie, why don't businesses do their own social media?
Because they don't have time, because they can't think of what to post, because they are older people that maybe don't know how to. Chris. But maybe don't know how to use it effectively.
Do you still get business owners sort of saying to you, I don't want to be on social because I'm scared of people, or like having negative, I don't want them to comment on it.
And that does slightly concern me, because it means that they already think that they have negative. So I've had the odd company that have said, why I don't want to go on there because of the bad feedback, and I'm thinking slight alarms, because you, as a business, you wouldn't not go on Google because you're worried about people replying on Google with bad reviews. So why would you worry about it on social media? But you can also turn things off. You can, like Facebook, you don't have to be able to recommend people. You can turn that off, which big companies do, which I've seen a few times, because it annoys me, because they're the big companies that probably do actually get quite a lot of bad feedback because they are doing bad things. But the smaller companies, which is my sort of niche marketing for, I wouldn't, if you're worried about bad, then that's probably why you need social media, to bring yourself up a bit, get a bit of positivity and good words on there.
You shouldn't be in business anyway.
Exactly.
I
just want to backtrack a little bit there. You mentioned just a moment ago about negative comments and that kind of thing. How have you ever had the problem, and how are you dealing with those sort of negative comments if they come through and brand reputation crisis? How do you handle that?
So one of the good things about having someone do your social media is that they can keep an eye out for things like that. So one of the accounts that I do, they get quite a lot of reviews quite often, and they probably wouldn't notice the random bad one that came in that was nothing to do with the company, that was hate speech. So I've reported it straight away, whereas it probably would have been missed completely, and somebody would have seen it further down the line and hadn't seen it. Whereas actually it will be taken off because it's nothing to do with the company. So having someone that will keep an eye on it, but also replying to people. I have had one where somebody commented on a photo saying something, which we've then replied to as the business, saying, I'm so sorry, this is what we're doing for you, so that actually people can see that we are dealing with it, and that it is a company that care, and we'll probably post a picture of them with their free product as part of that. So it's sort of, if anything, take it and use it as good marketing, use it as a bit of content that you can flip around.
Right.
Are you using any sort of listening tools to watch out for stuff like that?
No, I'm manually, and I like manually doing it to actually see, because then being creepy, I like to then go on the people's profile, see who they are, see what that's about, see
if it's spam.
Yeah, I can take it to the business and say, look, this is what this person has said, what do we do about it? And they'll say, oh, I know him, I'm really sorry, I don't know why he said that, I'll speak to him when he next comes in.
Yeah.
Maybe ask him if he doesn't mind taking that down and talking face to face about it first.
Right.
Things like that. But no listening tools. Real life person.
We spoke briefly in our pilot episode about organic reach.
Yeah.
And how that's sort of dropping off, if it's dropping off, certainly on the side of Facebook. LinkedIn right now is where it's at for sort of free organic reach. What metrics do you use to measure the success of any sort of social activity you do, social campaigns?
A lot. So some of mine I use the ones that are already, so Facebook Insights, Instagram Insights, things like that. But also a lot of it is actually just looking at, you can't compare two of my businesses to each other because there's no point. They're different businesses. They're completely different things. You need to compare it to a month ago from that company. All you want to really be seeing, especially for smaller companies, local companies, is growth in a small. Like, it doesn't need to be a massive 1,000 new followers, but just that engagement side of it. When you go on it, that everything is green and it's saying that things are slowly going up. But also, you can see as well where you're missing things. So, for example, you might go on it in the videos, and then you realise, I'm not going to have put any videos on, and it's just a little thing that reminds you, then triggers you to look at. There is also a website which I'm going to completely forget the name of. I'll find it and you can add it in some link in the bios. But you can put your Facebook in and they work out like a rating, so out of 100 on how good your Facebook is.
I've seen.
Yeah, I know.
Forget what it is, but I have seen that.
It's obviously not a very memorable name.
No.
But you can put it in and it will tell you you're 67% because you haven't got the right website in your Facebook page. You haven't got many videos, things like that. It's a good way to measure sort of your actual page before. There's no point looking at who's looking and who's engaging with you if your actual Facebook hasn't got a website on it.
Right.
So it's those sort of tools that you can then look back at in a month and see, okay, well, it's gone up. It tells me what I now need to be putting on.
Okay.
So when you start managing channels for a business, is there goals set out? Because when we do paid stuff, obviously there's an end result goal that we want to do. But when it's organic, is it just an awareness thing?
It's an awareness thing. Organic is, if you're paying someone to do ads, you're expecting a certain return on investment. When you're just paying somebody to put your name out there more, give yourself a better branding, it's very hard to measure. You can only get it from the odd comment when somebody walks into the shop and says, oh, I saw that picture the other day, I want one of those. Were you selling it? It's those sort of things that aren't necessarily as measurable as a click on an ad. So organic reach maybe looks like it's dying, but only because you can't properly see how you've generated
you can't
the people. You can
see the ROI.
you can. And you're not going to mark down every time somebody comes in to the shop and buys that top because you posted it on Instagram.
Right.
It's impossible to do. But
do you often get, because I get people sort of, because they know what I do, business owners and stuff like that, asking me, basically saying that they're posting stuff on Facebook organically, not running any ads, and they're saying, well, I haven't made any sales directly from that. How do you deal with that kind of conversation I usually have to have with people and say, look,
what is their expectation of you?
That's the thing. You've sort of, and one of those things that you can do when you're posting is say to them, it's not something that's measurable. Don't expect to see that top that you put on suddenly goes up 200%.
Yeah.
And people just have to understand that it is impossible to measure it because they might have seen that top on Instagram and it's just anything reminded them of the company, reminded them of the brand, and they've come in and bought something different. But you can see sometimes on things because maybe you've posted, like for example, the jiu-jitsu company, if we post and do a bit of a competition, a like and share and things like that, they then might get 20 more messages than they normally get. Okay. You can sort of see those ones.
You're feeling it in the business.
Yeah, but the whole point of social media is to keep a constant brand going.
Conversation.
And it's the people that are coming into the shop that may have seen it or may have not seen it, but you need that. It's like having a shop front with nothing on it, with black windows. Without having social media, you're literally doing that. You might as well put nothing there and just hope that the people coming in are coming in because they were going to anyway.
Right.
So with that comment you just made, are you someone that feels every business should be on social media?
Every business should be on social media. Every single business should be on social media.
Even like a waste management company?
I do a document solutions company.
What?
Yeah. And it's funny, we put some things, I posted something the other day that said, don't let your printer smell your fear. They can smell the fear. It's funny.
Right, okay.
If anything, you might not be buying a printer right now, but that's in your head. That's funny. That just get something out there. So that even if you might be looking for that for your company, you might be looking for document solutions.
Yeah.
You're Googling it. You happen to then go onto their Facebook and see that it's full of content. It's full of people. They're active. They care.
Yeah.
You're more likely to go to that than somebody you cannot find on Facebook because why can't you find them on Facebook? Why is there nothing for them? It's like not having a website. It's weird. Don't do that. Don't be the
Okay.
weird person with
I
no
kind of
answer.
put. Would you agree? I don't know if you know much about this particular topic, but I kind of put the results of organic reach on social media and how you achieve that sort of on par with search engine optimization, SEO. It's a bit, like you say, it's unmeasurable. It's a little bit black hat. Well, not black hat, but it's an unknown,
Bring in the weird
touchy-feely.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
You'll feel it if it's working in the business. You might not. It's not something you can measure 100%. And I think there's tools out there that help with that with measuring organic, but I don't think it's ever going to be a point where you can say, okay, you've put this much into your organic social media, and this is what you've got out of the back of it.
Yeah.
The thing is as well, how often do you ever ask people where they found you? Like so many businesses don't ask people. They might the odd time it come up, but very rarely do people actually say, oh, by the way, how did you see us?
Yeah.
And actually, if people ask that, they might find, I saw your Instagram post.
Right.
And
right.
you would never have known that had come from that without actually,
Asking.
again, speaking to people.
Yeah.
And again, even sometimes people don't exactly know where they've seen you or known you. It's that Darren Bryan type of I've seen that ad, I've seen them in Facebook. I don't know why though, but they're there. Their presence is a bit like why do McDonald's and Coca-Cola carry on advertising on the telly? They don't need to because everyone knows them, but it's that continual.
It's that touch point, isn't it?
And I think it works both ways. I think it's like we were saying, some of it you've seen and you've already had filtered into your life. The other part of it is you've already found the company, but you're checking them.
Doing the research.
Yeah, it's that back and forth bit that is so important.
You could straight up ask your audience as well. We're running an ad campaign at the minute that it is a paid ad campaign, but we do it organically as well, where you literally ask the person, screenshot this post or save this post, show it to said person when you come into the shop, when you come to the restaurant, and to redeem this offer. So there's sort of more physical ways of measuring organic stuff in that way as well. But otherwise, I think it's a bit of a lost sort of a bit of a whispery thing to
it's the shop window thing. It's the same thing as how can you prove what return on investment you're getting on what you put in the shop window. Nobody knows.
Indeed.
Georgie,
Yeah.
give us your top 3 tips on growing organically fast. Then.
Oh, wait, I have to say them fast or just fast?
No, growing organically fast.
Consistency. So there is absolutely no point posting once a month. It's stupid. Don't do that.
Do you believe in this whole, there's a certain time you should post and there's a certain number of posts you should do per platform? Do you believe in that?
No. Probably. And if you're a massive company that want to pay thousands and thousands of pounds, then probably, you should look when all your people are online, things like that. If you're going to pay for a really expensive ad, you kind of want to know when to put it on. If you're just posting organically for your business, you just consistency. That's all you need. Just every day, every other. I personally like every other day for your actual post, and then every day for stories on Instagram and Facebook, because they're the little ones that not everyone's watching, but they're clicking on you. You can see how many people are watching it. You can use that more personally and say, "Hi, this is what I'm doing. What are you guys doing? I'm at home today." It doesn't have to be businessy, but every other day for your actual posting. So tip 1, consistency. Tip 2 would be content, mixing it up. Do not post the same picture over and over again. Nobody cares if it's the same thing. I don't want to see the same picture of you selling your strawberry coffee every single day. If I'm not going to buy it, I'm not going to buy it. I don't like coffee, I'm not buying it. Mixing it up, videos, boomerangs, words, pictures of random things, but then using a quote to go with it that semi-relates to your business. Just inspirational things. The whole point of social media is that you're sort of giving people something. You're giving back. You're giving them, here you go, look, it's a cool quote. Enjoy your day. Here you go. It's free.
Do you think that could kind of thing can almost paralyse a business owner though, going, oh no, what am I going to find to post about today?
Which is why you call Simply Social. But no, it is. It's one of those things that you do have to sit down and plan it, kind of, because you don't want 6 quotes in a row. Yeah. You don't want 6 pictures of a product in a row. It does actually take a lot more effort than you think it does, and which is why a lot of people do paralyse in fear, because they don't know what to post. But having someone that can do it for you, or even like some people come and do workshops with me where I teach them, actually, you can do your social media, you've got time to do it, and you're probably the best person to do it. Yeah. Here's the things that I can teach you to help you do this. Here's some ideas. Like just speaking to somebody and finding some different ideas for content is
giving them like a
Yeah.
blueprint to follow.
Exactly, yeah. And once they start doing it, they'll get it.
Okay.
And then my third tip is engagement. So always reply to people that comment on your things.
Yeah.
You have to look at social media as if it was real life, as if somebody's genuinely said to you, I like your top you're wearing. You wouldn't just turn around and literally ignore them and walk away. There's some sort of engagement back that needs to happen. Even if you just say thanks so much for commenting. Sometimes people write random things on your post that mean nothing. I probably have, but reply to them. Thanks so much. I love that you've been on my page. Instagram and Facebook see those as engagement.
Yeah.
And it all just use the whole network of how they work it out, how engagement platforms and everything like that. Use it to your advantage by actually replying to people, liking their things, comment on other people's pictures, posts, because again, you don't know who might happen to read your nice comment on somebody else's picture that they go on to you. And it's a cycle of LinkedIn.
I've seen
is
that work
perfect.
quite well, particularly on Instagram for brands that I manage. I will go in on the newsfeed and actually like sort of like their friends associated with the companies and go and like their stuff and comment.
And also things like other companies that do the same thing that you do in a different country even. You're not against each other.
No.
You can comment and say, what a fantastic idea. Do you mind if I share this on my social media? Just, we're all friends. Let's happiness and positivity goes a long way.
Guys, we've run out of time.
Oh.
Rubbish.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm really enjoying that drink as well.
It's awful. Yeah. Georgie, thank you so much for coming in. It's been great having you. How can people reach you? Shameless plug. Go for it.
Shameless plug. I'm obviously on all social medias, so you can find me on there. So Simply Social UK, or my website is simplysocial.me.uk.
Cool.
Or I am on LinkedIn because I'm a real life person. So I'm Georgie Davies on there, and you can find me on there and get in touch. And don't be afraid to ask any questions.
Great. Thanks very much.
No problem at all.
We'll drop all those details in the show notes and perhaps we'll have you on again a little later down
Definitely.
the line.
Get me a better drink.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this episode.
If you did, please remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and most importantly, leave us a comment or review on Apple Podcasts, as it really helps us to bring you new episodes regularly.
You've been listening to Hit Publish with myself, Sam.
Me, Ian.
And me, Chris.